Thank you for joining me on the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast. I'm your host, AZ. I find the research and resources and then provide the fire service with the so what, now what, to ensure the health and well-being of every member of our profession. Together, let's thrive. Hey listeners, it's AZ, your host of the Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast, and this is episode 216 of the podcast. Today you're going to hear from some badass female firefighters who compete in the Firefighter Challenge and are also active duty firefighters at the same time. They are incredible people, Sarah McGill and Shantel Lund. And so, hey, if you've never tried the challenge, which I haven't, they tried to talk me into it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but if you've never tried the challenge, now's the time. Get signed up, give it a listen, give us a review, and have a great day. Hello, listeners. It's AZ with Fire Rescue Wellness Podcast, and I'm being joined today by the Sarah McGill. So say hello to the listeners.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited. This has been a long time in the coming, and we are crossing our fingers that Shantel Lund will also be joining us. She's having some technical difficulties. I was supposed to record with these ladies when they were in Oklahoma City for Firefighter Combat National Championships, and then everything went awry. But thanks for joining me today, Sarah. Can you give the listeners just a little bit of your elevator speech? Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Sarah McGill. I work for the Lexington, Kentucky Fire Department. I'm in my 13th year there. I'm also a paramedic. I ride Engine 1 downtown currently, spent most of my career downtown at Station 1. And I've competed with the Firefighter Challenge for the last 4 years. It's taught me a lot about myself, made me a better person, made me a better fireman, and it's been a ton of fun.
Well, and I'm eager to dig into that, but it's really funny how my podcast guests are just so inevitably connected. And so I went to visit Dr. Mark Abel 2 years ago in the spring. He took me to the Halligan Bar, by the way. It was
Oh,
pretty fun.
yeah. Halligan's is a great place.
And we got t-shirts. And he said, I think y'all had just hosted an event, or you were going to be hosting an event. And he's like, you got to meet Sarah McGill. You got to talk to her. So this is a long time in the works. I obviously want to dig in with you, and hopefully Shantel too, about your competitive career. But I would just love to know, how did you get interested in the Firefighter Challenge at all?
So our department had a team. It's had a team for a long time, since back in like the 2000s. And those guys have done a lot of good things over the years. I got on to Lexington, and John Varnott was always trying to get me to join the team. And I was just always doing other things. I had a boat and would go out to the lake on the weekends and just all kinds of stuff. So I'm just someone that if I'm going to do something, I have to give 110%. And I knew that I didn't want to it's a lot of time. The challenge season is a lot of time. It's a lot of time off work. It's a lot of time away competing. So finally, I decided I'm going to do this. Let's go. I need to do something to challenge myself. And I joined the team, and it was awesome. I should have done it a long time ago. So it's been a lot of fun.
That's incredible. And ladies and gentlemen, I think we are being joined by Shantel Lund. Are you there, my dear?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. We can. Yay.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl. Hey. Well, listen, I just asked Sarah to give just a brief introduction of herself and how she got interested in competing. Would you be able to do the same for us?
Yeah. So I got interested in doing the Firefighter Challenge because I'm super into competing in CrossFit. And so I wanted to do something that challenged myself on the fire side. And I always saw videos on like Instagram or Facebook of people competing in the challenge. And so I was like, man, this looks kind of fun to try. And actually our chief at my department told us about the challenge a few years back, and, told us he would support us in doing it. And so he allowed 2 people to compete our first year, and that's kind of how I got into it. And kind of stuck with it, and it's super competitive and fun, and you meet people from literally all over the world. So fun.
Incredible. And also, I realized recently that you and I have a mutual friend, Ms. Taryn Rooney from Oklahoma City Fire Department. She has not been yet on the podcast, but I'm trying to get her. So I'm sure Taryn would say hello and shout out to you as well.
Yeah.
Shout out to Taryn. So Sarah and I were just about to start digging into sort of the method, the madness, how do you train for an event such as this? So let's start with Sarah, and then we'll hand the microphone over to Shantel, and we'll start to put a picture of this sort of training together. So Sarah, tell us more.
Well, a season usually ends in October. So I usually train with my buddy Andrew Cook, and we give ourselves about a month off to kind of just hang out and do whatever we want to do. And then we train all off season. We call it off season from usually December all the way until we start competing again in April. And that is a lot of building strength and power, a lot of plyometrics, lifting. We do a lot. We have a coach, Paul Manfrey, and he does programming for us, and he just helps us build those specific systems that we need that translate well to the course. So we do a lot of quick, high intensity movements and workouts within the 30-second to 3-minute range. So rowing, skis, push a lot of sleds, flipping tires, a lot of functional movements, along with building that strength and power. Once season comes, we still do those types of things, and then we start to insert coursework as well. So we'll work, have a tower day where we do towers or running up and down and doing hoists, where we can work on technique and fine-tuning those things. And then we'll do a dummy drag day. We'll do days where we do the whole front half, days where we do the whole back half. And then whatever our strengths and weaknesses are, try to keep those strengths up and try to really pound home those weaknesses. So last year we both are not great at dummy drags in our individual. So we did dummy drags all winter long in different varieties of workouts with those. So but it's a learning process. We've been doing this for 4 years, and every year it's changed. We've learned about ourselves, and we've learned about the course, and we fine tune those things with what we learn every year. So it's kind of always evolving as far as training goes.
Amazing. And it sounds very much like training for any sport, because it is a sport. So that's wonderful. Shantel, are there any details of your training methodology that might be exactly the same, different? Tell us more.
Yeah, so I'm kind of opposite of Sarah. I don't train too much for the challenge itself. I do think my training kind of goes hand in hand with the challenge, though. I train mostly CrossFit on my off days and while I'm at the station. I do try to get some coursework in when I can. I try to find towers in the ground. I'm from Houston, so around the Houston area, and climb some towers every once in a while. But we have a Kaiser and a dummy that we pull, and we get a few reps here and there throughout the season. I try to really train endurance when the season comes around. I'm like a strength athlete, so I'm always training strength. And so when season comes around, I'm like, okay, I got to pick up some endurance here and start, getting my lungs ready to do this course. It's a different animal than CrossFit, but they definitely go hand in hand. So that's helped me a ton. So
what I'm hearing from you, my dear, is that you are a meathead. Accurate? Accurate and relatable. I love it. We're going to keep it with you, Shantel, for a second, because I didn't give you a chance to tell the listeners how long you've been on the job, and also if you'd care to share details of where you work and anything like that. So let me give you a quick chance to do that, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'm actually originally from Northern Nevada. I actually worked at a gold mine for 5 years and got into mine rescue. And that's kind of how my passion for firefighting came about, I guess. I was on the mine rescue team for about 3 years underground. And so it's a totally different world down there, as you can imagine. But Shift work was a little bit different than, being a firefighter. And so it was very taxing on your body. You never really slept. You never saw the sun when you were underground. So it was just difficult. I actually had an opportunity to go to fire school about halfway in, and I took that. We were all just kind of like certified through like little programs that we all went through. Like I went and got my AEMT, and they would send us to like a rope rescue class, and we got rope rescue certified there. So I had an opportunity to go to fire school. And when I went to fire school, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do full time. This is my passion. So fast forward to 2020, I moved to Houston, Texas, got a job here, been on the job here for 5 years. And yeah, I absolutely love it here. So it's definitely my passion for sure.
This is wild. My dad in the 70s worked for Union Carbide, the company that no longer exists, and he was a member of the mine rescue team. Isn't that wild?
That is wild.
Oh my gosh. I hadn't even thought about that for so long. Okay. Back on track. I wanted to ask you, Shantel, how your training for the challenge benefits you or transfers over in a positive way to your actual firefighting skills, if it does. I'm assuming that it really does, but I'd love to hear from you how it does.
Yeah, I think it definitely does. Not only does it like help me, but I feel like it helps my crew as well. We all get into it, like whether it's, we'll get on an assault bike with our air packs, and like we push each other to see who can go the longest, or, running through a lot of consumption drills when we can. And so, the challenge pushes you in a way, I believe, and maybe Sarah can agree with this, of like your lung capacity out there and how you breathe through the course. And you really, truly do have to train your lungs going that high intensity on the course. And so that was probably my biggest challenge, is like learning how to breathe, pushing that hard while you're on air. It's different, so it's, yeah, back to on the job for sure. Like it gets our reps in. So, whether it's pulling dummy drag, learning different techniques of pulling the dummy, our Kaiser sled, always perfecting skills. So I 100% believe that it's made me a better firefighter. It gets me in my gear training. It gets me with my crew building that, teamwork together. So yeah, it's definitely benefited me in a positive way.
I had a feeling that's what you would say, but I would also love to hear it from Sarah's perspective, how it transfers over to your job task ability.
Yeah, all of the same stuff. And she's right. It really does teach you how to breathe in your SCBA and in your mask, especially when you're doing such intense work. How to breathe and how to control your heart rate, or try to control your heart rate the best you can with your breathing. I think what the challenge has taught me the most is it's taught me about my body. It's taught me a lot about my body, and how to listen to it, and where I can push and where I can't, which definitely translates to the fire ground. We all have strengths and weaknesses, and sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we've got to work really hard for a long amount of time. So just kind of how to manage that, and how to train so that at any moment we can go out and do the job and do it well. I can remember I was on a 2-alarm fire downtown one time. I think this was after like the first or second year that I started the challenge. And I was on the first engine in, and I was water pumping, had all my lines off, and ran around the block to help hook up a 5-inch to another truck for water supply. And I remember skull dragging and just waiting for that 5-inch to hit, and it just never did. And I remember thinking in the moment, like, holy cow, I don't think I could have done this before. And maybe I could have, but that's something else I think the challenge does for you, is it helps build that confidence to where you've learned to push your limits, and you learn to push yourself, and you build that confidence so you know you can do hard things when you get out on the fire ground.
So in some respects, it builds that sort of intangible and difficult to measure intestinal fortitude, which is like, we need it, but it's just so hard to measure it. I think that's the message I'm hearing from you. I want to stick with you because before we actually hit record, this is like a rookie mistake. Every time I should hit record as soon as we sign on and I miss good stuff. But you were talking about one of the things that you really learned was to sort of read your body, but also the value of recovery. Tell me about that and also how it can apply to just a typical firefighter training.
Absolutely. So I think that's been one of the hardest lessons for me to learn in the past 4 years doing this is that we have to take breaks and recover. Um, I think a lot of firemen, our personality is to go, go, go. And we feel like if we aren't pushing ourselves to those limits all the time, we're not doing enough, and we never want to not do enough. So overtraining is a thing. And whether that means you're training for the challenge or you're just a career fireman or a volunteer fireman working on the job, training every day to keep your physical fitness up and stay fit to fight. I think it's important to understand that we need that rest, and that is sleep and nutrition. So what we do, sleep can be hard to get. We run our own 911. We run ambulances in Lexington. And so sleep when you're on those ambulances sometimes is non-existent. So learning how to figure out a routine for your body where you can try to make up some of that sleep because your body needs that to recover. If I have certain plans for a workout and I don't sleep that night at work before I go to train the next day, I have to understand that and maybe dial it back a notch on that workout when I really didn't plan on it, or get some sleep before. If we just keep beating ourselves down over and over and over, we never have time to grow. So we need some of that time to rest, recover, whether that's sleep and nutrition. Nutrition has been huge, a lot of trial and error to figure out what works for me. But sleep and hydration, I think, are super underestimated when it comes to recovery. And overtraining is a real thing, especially as we get older. So that's just something I kind of learned the hard way, and I think I've started to get it down. And as hard as it is to think, hey, I need to let back on the gas a little bit today, at the end of the day, it usually provides better results than if I would have powered through.
Preach it louder, sister. And also, by the time this episode comes out, so the episode with Sarah Johnson, world's strongest woman at 73 kilograms, she just won that title a couple weeks ago. So the episode is coming out the 23rd of December, but Sarah said the same thing. You have to auto or self-regulate and really take into consideration that recovery. Shantel, tell me about, because we already know that you train a little bit differently, but I have a feeling you also recover really hard as well. Can you tell us about your recovery modalities and how you really emphasize the importance of recovery?
Yeah, so same as Sarah, I actually had to really learn that this year was recovery. And Sarah's literally taught me a ton about recovery. She brought her Normatec boots to, was it Alabama? Yeah, it was Alabama.
Yeah.
And I was like obsessed with them because they like truly helped. And I actually was faced with a back injury. Oh, I think it was like, I'm not even sure, honestly. It was pretty close after Alabama when I was doing some deadlifts. I believe I hurt my back really bad, and it actually forced me to recover. It was to the point where I actually had to not do my individuals for nationals and worlds this year. And so I had to take a step back, and I learned that the hard way because I pushed, a little bit too hard. But that in the long run, I'm okay now, thankfully. But I've had to learn to like slow down a lot more and give myself a lot more rest days and sleep and actual recovery days rather than like, I can't, I'm not 20 years old anymore. Like I can't go 7 days a week, and I wish I could. But yeah, no, I have to listen to my body, and when I need rest and sleep, I take a rest day whether I like it or not. And so those have definitely helped me a ton the last few months, I would say.
And then another question for you, Shantel. Do you have a particular nutritional philosophy that you follow, a specific eating plan, or is it a listen to your body? Tell us about your nutritional arsenal.
Yeah, so I kind of just I honestly listen to my body, but I also believe in balance of life, right? So I think working in a fire station is extremely hard. We eat well over here, but we also, we all have goals and stuff. And so, I never followed a nutrition plan. I kind of know just by looking at food about how many grams of protein I'm consuming and the carbs and stuff. When I'm in season with my CrossFit or the Firefighter Challenge, I try to track a little bit just by eyeballing, but I've never really followed a nutrition plan for myself. It just works best for me um, just watching what I eat. I'm not like consuming a ton of fats through the day. That's gonna slow me down, and I just stay up on my carbs when I'm in season because I know my body needs more carbs while I'm in season and stuff. So I just kind of track it naturally, I guess I would say.
And Sarah, you are currently, correct me if I'm saying this wrong, but you're currently detailed out to the Recruit Academy, and you shared with me some nutrition and tracking that someone had asked you about. Can you reshare that story? Because it's really fascinating.
Yeah, I'm recovering from an injury. So I'm out at the training center. We have a new recruit class, and we have a lot of younger guys and girls out there. Had a question about nutrition. I've had a lot of questions about nutrition already, which is great because they're already learning about the recovery process and eating well. But one of them had a question about tracking. They just heard that word tracking. And once I got into it, went to show, I use my macros plus and it tracks my proteins, my carbs, here's my fats, and immediately looked at me confused. I don't understand what macros are. I don't understand, the balance of carbs and proteins. So it's something that people just don't really think about. I mean, these younger generation, especially the firemen coming up, it's not something that's on their mind. So it's something that we have to kind of help them through and educate them on how important that can be. Even when they're 19, 20 years old, they've got to fuel their body. So it was just interesting thinking, they're not only coming from square one with fire skills and they know nothing, you have to really water down training because they're coming in here without any experience at all, which has been a big learning curve for me trying to teach. But even just basic nutrition and things like that and sleep, we track their sleep every day as well. And we talk about those things. So
Are you tracking their sleep just on a questionnaire, or are they using a device? How are you tracking that?
yeah, we just like a questionnaire type thing. So we have a program, and they do called a readiness report. It's called Gideon Soft, and part of that program is that readiness report that tells us if they're sore, their stress levels, their sleep, at how many hours they got of sleep. So it's just kind of a questionnaire type thing, so that we know every morning before we start classes and stuff, we can look at that and see, well, why is this person struggling today? Does this person who's been injured, are they feeling better? Those kinds of things.
And listeners, Sarah mentioned My Macros Plus, and there's a lot of different tracking apps, I guess if you want to call them, or software. But in my experience, My Macros Plus is probably the easiest end user experience. It has the largest database, and then I think the accuracy is much better than, say, a MyFitnessPal or something like that. And the other thing is that the price point, I think is it $30 a year? It's really,
It's something super cheap.
yeah, it's super cheap. Whereas I think MyFitnessPal went up to like $9.99 a month, so it's just way more expensive. So if you're looking to track, and I would never say like you have to track, but if you want to track anyway, I think that is a great option.
Very easy.
Very easy, very easy. Shantel, are you involved at all in recruit training at this time?
No, I'm not. I do every year I do try to help out with some sort of like kids camps, or I'm pretty passionate about the kids right now, so I do like doing that. But the recruits do look like something I'd be interested in someday.
Those little kids are gonna one day grow up to be recruits, and then they'll be more palatable. Can you
Yes.
can you tell me what sort of activities or programs or what have you that are available for the kids that you're working on?
Yeah, so just kind of, it's a lot I do during the summertime is just camps for young girls who want to be firefighters or even paramedics someday. And so it's usually week-long camps throughout the summertime that's available for them. And they're just camps to where they can kind of see what the skills might look like to be a firefighter or a paramedic. And so we bring in firefighters from all over Houston to kind of put something together. And so they get a week long and they get to put on gear. They get to actually cut a car. They get to put out a little trash fire and they get a pole line. So I want to say the age range is like 15 to 18. So they're, they're starting to work, like trying to understand or even think about what they might want to do later in life. And so a lot of them are really passionate, and some of them we even see get into academy and stuff afterwards. So it's kind of fun, something to, inspire our younger generation, and especially these girls getting into it and showing them that they are capable of, doing this job.
I think that that's amazing because I obviously knew that firefighting was a career. I just didn't know it was a career I could do until I was well into my 30s. So that's incredible. Let's revisit the challenge again for a second. And Sarah, I'm going to send this one to you. How do we create or spark more interest in the challenge for female competitors?
I think just keep going out and competing. More and more are starting to see it's starting to grow, the challenges, and more people are seeing it, and just keep spreading the word. We've gotten more people, because when I started, Shantel wasn't competing, and some of the other girls, and every year I feel like we gain one or two more, and usually if they come out once, they get hooked. So even if they don't want to make it their full-time thing where they want to put all their time into it, it's something they want to come back and do at least once or twice a year, and I think that's awesome. So just competing, we have an 18-year-old on our team who saw her dad compete and then has been around when the rest of our current team now is competing, and she comes out and trains with us, started training with us, and had a great season, and now wants to be a career fireman. And so that's how it happens, is just get out and do, and they'll see it.
It's very funny you said that. My friend Maureen, or she goes by Mo, Stockline, competed for a number of years. I think mostly it's called tandem, right? When it's more than one person. Is that correct?
Yeah, two people.
Okay, so she competed in the tandem events, and she was always after me to do it, and I was just like, it doesn't look like fun to me, and I should have done it.
Yeah, tandems and relays are really fun. Those are awesome. That's when you get to be with other people and be with a team, and it's a ton of fun. You don't have to, if you don't want to come out and do an individual. We had a women's team with my department for a couple of years, and there were 5 of us, and that's how I kind of got them into it, is you don't have to go to an individual. Just come and do a tandem and a relay, and that's what we did. And then they got hooked, and then they built that confidence, because it takes a lot of guts to go out and run that individual. It's not easy. So and then it evolves into that, and then they start seeing that they can do more that they thought they couldn't, which is the goal here, which is awesome.
Okay, amazing. And Shantel, I'm going to have you help me wade through this question I have in my mind, because I saw pictures on social media that included you and Sarah and some other people. I can't remember, a team something or other. Is that, tell me what that team was. I hope you even know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that's USA Slay.
Yes, USA Slay. Slay girl.
That's our Slay team. Yeah, that's our US team. We actually started it, last year, Sarah?
Yeah.
I think it was last year.
No, it was this year.
It was
this year. Yes, this year.
Yeah, we actually just got a group of really badass women together, and we all, we've been friends for the last couple of years, and we're like, hey, let's make a world record breaking team, and so got a group of us girls together, and now every challenge that we go to, we run our relay. So it's a 5-person relay, and not everyone can make every single challenge. And so sometimes we compete with 4, sometimes we compete with all 5. It just depends on who can make, the challenge and who can't. And so we made these really cute jerseys that say USA Slay. And that actually sparked even more interest to even do another competition together. That was a firefighter competition. So we did that. We met up in San Antonio and did that together. So it's just fun to like have a group of girls that, have the same end goal. And, there's just, you always uplift each other. You love to see each other win. And that's this group of girls. So super fun.
Amazing. And I want to know if you get to pick first, because I don't know how you divvy up your events if you're doing a relay. But Shantel, you get to pick first. What are you picking?
Dummy drag.
Dummy drag. I think Sarah's not picking dummy drag.
No, Sarah's not picking dummy drag. Chantel's the fastest female dummy dragger in the world. Like, for real. So she has no choice. She has to do the dummy drag.
Okay, what's your event, Sarah?
I guess the hoist. Usually tower stuff.
Yeah, there's a
going
tower
up and hoist.
So Shantel, that is so posterior chain driven, that dummy drag. What do you attribute that to? Were you track and field athlete? Is it just the CrossFit? Like, why are you the most badass dummy dragger in the world?
I don't know if I'm that, but I will say
Sarah said.
Yes.
I will say that I was track and field. I actually struggled in the academy with the dummy. I could barely lift that thing, like barely. There's actually a picture of me, I think it's on my Instagram, of me trying to pull it, and I have webbing wrapped around its arms, and I'm literally pulling it with the webbing was wrapped around my waist, and I was dragging it with my waist. It was something I struggled with so bad. And I remember just feeling like, man, if I'm going to actually be a firefighter, I better learn how to pick this thing up, because what if it's, what if my crew goes down with somebody, I have to pull somebody out of the fire. Like, I need to gain strength. And so that's when I started CrossFit, and I made it my, I don't know what it was. I don't know what that dummy just did it to me, but I was like, I'm going to be able to lift this thing up and drag that thing. And so it was all about reps and learning how to do that. And so a lot of squats, a lot of deadlifts, a lot of Zercher squats. And honestly, a couple of years of trying to gain some strength. I was a string bean back in academy, so I had to put some weight on, had to eat, I had to fuel my body. Like Sarah, I'm glad that Sarah's teaching that to the recruits. I wish I had that when I was, going through academy and stuff, because it was so hard to eat enough, or I didn't know how to, fuel my body right back then. But yeah, so anyway, long story short, is definitely training for it.
So now I'm less confident in my guess, now that you said you were string bean in the academy, but my guess was going to be just looking at you, not meeting you in person, just looking at you on social media, your videos and your still photos. My guess was going to be that you were a badass 200, 400 sprinter. I may take that back because you said you were string bean, but am I close?
Yeah, I was I did the 100 and 200.
Oh, I was kind of wrong though, because 100 and 400 are way different.
Yeah, I did a 400 a couple of times, but it would die.
So painful.
The 400, yeah.
So painful.
I was a relay. I think that's why I like the relays at the Firefighter Challenge so much, is because I loved relays when I did track. So
the team aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's where those fast feet come from too. Yeah. I mean, she floats backwards with that thing.
That's wild. Sarah, do you have an athletic background? Were you track and field or anything like that?
Yeah, I played basketball from second grade through college. So I've always been involved in sports of some kind and competing somehow. So
that's just a story I keep hearing again and again and again with firefighters. They're like, I was on this team and I loved the team aspect. And then I grew up and I needed a job and I was looking for a team.
Oh yeah. 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 I was in medical sales after college, and it's great money, but I hated it. It's very much an individual thing. And getting on the fire department I went to volunteer department. And after the first night, I was like, yes, this is what I need to be doing, and applied right then to anywhere I could. So,
Oh my gosh, that's
yeah,
such a great
team aspect was great. Yeah.
that's a great story. So, Chantel, I'm going to toss this one to you. What's next for you competing, whether individually or back to the challenge? Like, what's on your horizon in the next few months?
Right now it's focusing on some of this CrossFit stuff. That's going to come first just because it comes before the challenge here. So I'll compete in that during February, March, and then the challenge starts in April, and I plan on going just as hard next year. So yeah, I will say that Sarah has helped me so much this year in training for the challenge. Like, she's truly like, I think you should be a coach, Sarah, for sure.
I was just going to ask that if Sarah was a coach. Okay.
Yeah, she has like helped me like just with certain techniques, whether it's like picking up the hose or like, she knows I struggle like on the stairs. And so she's given me some really good pointers. So now that it's the off season, I really want to be hitting some of those things that she actually taught me. And so I'm excited to put that in for next year. And so that's going to be what I work on next year, is definitely stairs and more stairs.
Love that.
And you said April. Does that mean that you will be competing at FDIC?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm going to come find you at FDIC because I will not be competing, but I will be speaking. So I'm going to come find you. Also, before I leave, to ask Sarah the same question, tell me, what is this High Rocks thing? That's where it's similar to CrossFit. Tell me more about that, because you also do that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I actually did one with Taylor Ward, and she's actually on our USA Slate team as well. So that's another thing, is like you just get to fly to these cities with your friends that are firefighters and do cool stuff like High Rocks. I will say, yeah, it's definitely a lot like CrossFit. It's a lot more running though. So I might get this wrong. I think it's like a 1 kilometer run, and then you do a station, and you do that 8 times. So it takes around an hour to complete it, depending on, yeah.
That sounds
So
so miserable, but also so fun. You're doing it with your friends.
it is, yeah, it's so like, it's another team thing, you can do individuals and stuff, but I always like just doing stuff with friends. So
Okay, that's fair. All right, Sarah, same questions. What's on the horizon for you in competition? Is it just kicking off at FDIC, or do you have some other things in the back burner?
Yeah, like I said, I'm recovering. I had some tears in my hip replaced, so it's everything's kind of up in the air for the season this year. Just kind of have to take it day by day and see how recovery goes, how quickly I can get back. But I plan on using the season as rehab. May not be as strong this year, but I still want to be out there with Shantel and my friends competing, and that's what's going to keep me up when I can't do what I want to do. So definitely will still be out there competing and just trying to get stronger. My goal is to be ready to put up some good runs by Worlds in October. I think I should definitely be able to, be recovered and gain some strength and some power back by then. And then in November, the World Firefighter Games are in Saudi Arabia in 2026. So I'm actually on the committee helping plan that. And I've been to Saudi. I went to Saudi in 2024 and competed, and excited to go back in November and do that course. It's a little different than the challenge course. It's a lot of fun. So just staying active, finding ways to move, and be a good fireman.
I think that's amazing. And also, I heard somewhere that you were going to start a coaching business for the challenge.
I would love that. No, I do love, I think that's one of my passions is seeing people like Shantel. She has so much potential to do so many things and be great at so many things. And I think the challenge is a lot more technical than people think. Firemen look at that and they see things that we do all the time. But when you get out there on your own and put it all together in one run as an individual, it's very technical, and there's small little details that matter in that 2 minutes. And I kind of nerd out. I'm breaking that stuff down. And when I see someone like Shantel that can be molded in so many ways because she's so talented and strong in so many areas, I get very excited. She probably gets sick of me like, hey, do this or think about this or you just go on. But yeah, we actually are doing in April in around the Orlando area. The challenge is doing a boot camp before the season starts. So I will be out there. Some of us will be out there coaching for 3 or 4 days. So if you are interested in that, you can look at their website, look at their Instagram, and information should be coming out about that. So we are going to be doing a 3-4 day boot camp before season starts in Florida.
I will actually put that in the show notes because that is super cool. And even if you're not competing, will you be coming to hang out at FDIC?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I probably won't be competing at FDIC, but I'll definitely be there cheering on my friends and seeing everyone getting the season started. So
incredible. Well, I want to be super respectful of your time, and this has been such a great conversation. I want to turn it over one more time to Shantel and ask if there are any final thoughts about anything we talked about that you would like to leave the listeners with.
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, thank you so much for having us.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you guys finally.
Yeah, this is really cool. It actually, it helps get the word out to other people who may want to do the Firefighter Challenge, but also it's just nice to just talk to everyone and, just get it all out there.
I
what
love
it's all about. And it's just incredible to work with such amazing athletes at this challenge. I hope that everyone who is listening truly understands like how special the Firefighter Challenge is and how many friends and just great people that you meet along the way. And it's truly a community. It's just like the fire service itself, and so you get connected with amazing people from all over the world. I mean, like here we are today talking about it. And so it's just pretty awesome. So yeah, thank you for having me.
I think that's an incredible message. And Sarah, I will ask you the same question. Any final words, parting thoughts, or any knowledge to impart about anything we talked about or didn't talk about?
Yeah, like Shantel said, thank you for having us. This has been awesome. I was excited when you messaged. So thank you for that. And I think one of the biggest things is don't be afraid to start, right? So Shantel and I have accomplished some things in the last few years, but we've been working towards that for many years prior. Like she talked about being a string bean in the academy and having to build strength just to drag the dummy. Now look, she's dragging the dummy better than anyone in the world. So I think for people that are hesitant to start, don't be. We all started somewhere. My first run was horrible. I wrestled with Randy for like 5 minutes at the finish line. Like it's not always great, but you have to start somewhere. So don't be afraid to start. Definitely can always look for ways to challenge yourself and push yourself because we can do so much more than we give ourselves credit sometimes. So
in your case, it was not Rescue Randy. It was Wrestler Randy.
Yeah, exactly. It was bad. Hopefully there's no videos of it out.
And that's such a good message to end with, because honestly, when my friend Maureen asked me, like, it didn't appeal to me, but I wish it had appealed to me because it would have been so darn fun. Doggone it.
Yeah. I mean, you said you're going to be at FDIC, like we talked about earlier. There's tandem partners out there, relay partners, you've got months to get ready,
Who wants an old, washed up, retired firefighter who's now a PhD student? They're going to be like, oh yeah, me, I want her.
Yeah. Anyone, it's for everyone. So get on out. It'll be fun. Give it a try.
Maybe I should contact Maureen. She's also retired now. She's currently a dietitian for the Detroit Tigers.
Do a little throwback.
Yeah, I'm probably be calling Shantel and Taylor and everyone when we're old and be like, hey, get up, let's go. Let's go do this. Just run relay for fun. Good time.
That's amazing. Well, I will take it under consideration, but regardless, I will see you guys in the flesh in Indy in April. I appreciate so much your time, your enthusiasm, and your dedication to the sport. And I think we can drop the mic. So it's been AZ and Sarah McGill and Shantel Lund, and we are officially out. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.